You guys know I always say that you don't need more, you just need better. But funny enough, this Louis Vuitton bag wasn't actually the bag that I was looking for. Here on my channel, I talk a lot about buying less, buying better, and building a better wardrobe intentionally. Over the last few videos, we've talked about the things that I stopped buying, the things that I started buying, and how to build a wardrobe that actually works for your life. But I think that there's something we don't talk about enough. What happens when there is something we want to buy? Because I think that this gets confused a lot, but mindful shopping doesn't mean we're not shopping. It doesn't mean that we're not buying anything. It's knowing when to say yes to something, not because it's trending, not because everyone else has it, but because we genuinely love it, it fits our style, and it also fits our life. This story actually started a few months ago. I tried on this beautiful yellow bag while Mike and I were at the mall. We went to the Fendi store and I absolutely loved it, but it really didn't feel right. The price didn't feel right. The handle wasn't quite right. I inevitably did a couple laps around the mall, as one does as they think about their potential purchases, and I decided to walk away. And that one decision sent me down a rabbit hole that completely changed how I shop today. Today's video isn't about a Louis Vuitton bag. It's about liking something versus knowing when something is right for you. And that's why I'm so glad that I didn't settle. I realized over the last, I would say year and a half, that color has become one of the biggest ways that I express my personal style. Color genuinely brings me happiness. I talk about it all the time, and my favorite colors to wear are yellow, red. I'm wearing this red top today because I feel like I tell you constantly that I wear red, and yet I never wear red in any of my videos, and also pink. So when I went to the Fendi store and I saw this magical bag that started it all, it was yellow. And I thought just because it was yellow, I needed it. I loved it. The color was great. I love Fendi. I'm such a Fendi girly. It definitely caught my eye. It looked a little different than what was already in my collection, but there were a few things that bothered me. The handle bothered me. It had leather over, I guess, the chain on the top handle, and it kind of jutted out and was a little like pointy on the ends. So I didn't really love that. Also, I gotta be honest, I didn't really love the price tag. It's a $2,700 bag. And at the time, I thought I was looking for a yellow handbag, but really looking back, I don't think that that's what I was looking for at all. Can I tell you something funny? Every morning, I'd open Poshmark with my cup of coffee. I'd open the app, I'd favorite a bag, I'd close the app, and then later on that night when Mike and I were unwinding and watching TV on the couch, I'd open the app again and check on all of the listings that I had liked that day, the day prior, the week prior. And if Poshmark had a frequent visitor award, I have no doubt that I would have won it. And if you've watched my channel for a while, you probably know where this is going, except for some reason I had no idea. My criteria was yellow. I looked at different brands, I looked at different styles, and I was checking every single day. I would get excited about a handbag, I would favorite it in hopes that maybe the seller would give me an offer, and as soon as I would get a notification about someone liking one of the handbags that I already liked, I would get heart palpitations. Like, is this the bag that I really want? If I don't put a bid in now, if I don't buy it now, am I gonna lose it? And to be honest, I did find one handbag and I got really excited about it. But I waited. I got an offer, and every time you get an offer, you get 24 hours to think about it. And in the final hour, I realized I don't actually love this. Every bag I didn't buy taught me something about what I actually wanted. The shape wasn't right, the fit wasn't right, the size wasn't right, the color wasn't right. I was nitpicking every single thing that I saw because I wanted to find something that I genuinely loved, that I was genuinely excited about. And I knew that every time I got an offer on a handbag, when I had 60 minutes left to either accept the offer or for the handbag to go back to full price, I knew that I didn't love it because I wasn't itching to buy it. I would come up with an excuse. This is too expensive. This isn't the right color. And so I immediately knew that it wasn't the right bag for me. Every bag I didn't buy genuinely brought me to the bag that was meant to be. And I know that sounds so corny, but it's so true. There were so many almost bags. I actually had quite a few that I really was thinking about buying. The first one was the Bottega Mini Jodi. I've wanted it for a really long time, but again, I cannot justify that price tag. It is so expensive. And I should have just known there in that instance that I didn't absolutely love it. Don't get me wrong, $2,700 is a lot, but if it's something that I genuinely love, and at the end of the day, I know I will love and adore and use for a lifetime, I will find a way. Don't get me wrong. I will find a way to make the price work. I decided to pivot and I found a dupe. There is this brand called Tiffany and Fred Parrish. You can find it on Gilt, and they are Bottega dupes. It's literally the same mini Jodi. I've never touched it in real life. I've never seen it in real life, but from what I can see on the internet, it is like a spectacular dupe. And they retail for $140 and they are genuine leather. But again, I was looking at this, it didn't come in yellow, and I just was like, do I really want this bag? I'm not so sure. The handle kind of bothered me. And again, I found myself nitpicking. And so the second that I started nitpicking a bag was the moment I needed to move on. Then I moved on to a Parisa Wang bag. Now this was an East-West bag, which I don't own in my collection. And it was a yellow bag, but it was a little bit more subtle. I like loud, kind of like in-your-face bags. I also really like a lot of logos and branding. I think that accessories should be fun. That's just my personal style. And so I ended up passing on that as well. After I looked at all these bags, I decided at the end of them that they were just not quite right. And you know, I could have bought any of these bags and just said, it's close enough. But I realized close enough wasn't actually what I wanted. And I also realized that buying a substitute would technically end my search, but it wouldn't end my desire. One night, I saw a listing I'd never seen before. It was butter yellow, Vernis leather, a silhouette I had never really considered, and also a silhouette that isn't already within my handbag collection. It was the Louis Vuitton Roxbury Drive. And this is when I realized I hadn't just found a beautiful bag, I found a bag that actually filled multiple gaps within my wardrobe. By this point, yellow had quietly become one of the most dominant colors within my wardrobe. I have yellow tops, sweaters, accessories, but shockingly, I didn't own a yellow handbag. And it really felt like it was something that was missing, which is why I started the search from the beginning. I also realized I didn't own an East-West bag. Most of my bags are different silhouettes, so the shape felt fresh while also still feeling like me. The more I looked at it, the more I realized I wasn't just buying another handbag. I was filling gaps that had quietly been sitting in my wardrobe for years. And unlike the Fendi, this actually worked the way that I wanted it to. I love shoulder bags because that's just what I naturally reach for. But one thing I don't own is clutches because I just don't really gravitate towards them. A clutch is more of an elevated bag. Like, yeah, I go on date nights, but a lot of the time I'm carrying a larger bag. And when I'm carrying more things, I want a shoulder bag. But this was a larger bag that had a shoulder strap that could be removed. So it gave me the versatility of being a shoulder bag while also giving me the option of being a clutch. So if I ever wanted that clutch bag for dinner, for date night, for a bridal shower, for something a little bit more elevated, for girls' brunch, thanks to this bag, I now have it. This bag immediately felt different. The yellow was the perfect, softest butter yellow. It is a color, but it feels so neutral to me. When I say neutral color, it's more of like a toned down, like mellow color. What I love the most about them is that you can pair them with other colors, and both are never going to compete for attention. They're going to mesh and blend with anything else in your wardrobe. I love Vernis. To me, it is so nostalgic. When I got my license at 17 years old, my girlfriends all chipped in and got me a Louis Vuitton key fob, and it was the cream Vernis, the exact same Vernis as this bag. In the last few years, I'm just like craving nostalgia and simpler times. It feels comforting. It just felt like it was meant to be. I did sell that Louis Vuitton key fob that I'm mentioning. I did sell it on Poshmark, funny enough, because I bought this new Roxbury bag from Poshmark, but I sold it because there were transfer stains. It just kind of felt like a second chance, kind of like a redemption for what I had previously owned. The shape is great. Long silhouette. Again, I like that it's a shoulder bag, but also a clutch. But even if I do take it out as a clutch, it's not a small clutch. It's lengthy. And so I don't feel like I'm restricted to only the necessities when going out and taking this bag. After I went through all these things, it just felt like me. You know, I love kitten heels, and I talk about kitten heels all the time, and I say that they are just like old money luxury. And I love old money looking things. And this just felt like such a staple piece that I could see a very sophisticated chic woman taking out to lunch with her girlfriends. And so I envisioned that in my head. I saw it and was literally like, that could be me, because it goes with my wardrobe, it goes with my style, and it fits into my life. Now, I did buy this pre-loved because I had to buy it pre-loved, but honestly, I am no stranger to the pre-loved market. 90% of my designer goods are pre-loved because I just think that there's something so special about it. These items have history. This specific item wasn't available anymore, and it kind of felt like finding a treasure. And buying secondhand also meant that I wasn't choosing only what was available today. I was choosing from everything that ever existed. And I don't know, that just kind of feels romantic to me. So like I said, it's discontinued. I can't buy this bag at a Louis Vuitton store anymore, and it is vintage. So I believe this bag is from 2006, so it's a 20-year-old bag. And again, I love secondhand not only because you can get things at a fraction of the price, but also it's so sustainable. And also, I just think that buying secondhand has really taught me to just buy a bit more intentionally, because you do really need to do your due diligence. You do really need to do your research. You know, you need to figure out what's good condition, what's not good condition, what's a good price, what is a complete ripoff. You need to look around and look at different sites and cross compare. And so it is such an intentional buy. So now that we've talked a bit about secondhand and buying secondhand, you might be wondering, why this Roxbury? Now, first and foremost, I do want to show you the biggest flaw of this bag, and it is this scratch right here, which I know you can see because it's a significant scratch, but it doesn't bother me. That might bother someone else. If you're interested in seeing how I buy secondhand bags and all of my recommendations, where to shop, where not to shop, I will go ahead and link a video up here. I did one a few months ago where I did a deep dive and kind of showed you all of the secondhand bags that I already own. This for me just made sense. I mean, the price was really good. Granted, I believe the price was better because of this scratch on the front, but overall, aside from this, the condition is so good. The vachetta is what really got me. Now, given that this bag is 20 years old, the vachetta is this kind of like cognac leather, and Louis Vuitton is really known for this leather. And if you were to look at like an older bag, you can tell where someone has grabbed the bag, touched the bag, because oils will change this and make it darker. Water stains will change this and make it darker. And if you were to buy this in a Louis Vuitton store today, which you can't, but hypothetically, if this was a new Louis Vuitton bag, this would be quite a few shades lighter than it is today. But what's so good about this is that it has aged very evenly across the vachetta. There's no water stains. There's no really like significant marks. It's very uniform. It's all one color. It really has aged well. I had the Speedy 30. One night I wore it out when Mike and I went out to dinner, and it was raining, and I now have like water spots on it. I'm gonna get over it, but it is kind of annoying. I just don't like that it's not fluid, so you can see like little specks. Flaw, but it was a pro for me, is the fact that this is not supposed to be a yellow bag. This is actually supposed to be cream. But again, this bag is 20 years old, and over time, the cream and the Vernis changes colors a little bit and becomes this beautiful yellow color. So while that might be a flaw to someone else, that was definitely a plus for me. Another flaw that you could consider is the fact that I bought this on Poshmark, and you cannot return anything unless, of course, the seller gives you some bogus description and you receive something that is utterly different than what they described. Otherwise, what you buy is yours. So I took a true leap of faith here. But again, I've bought enough bags secondhand to really know what I'm looking for, to really dissect the visuals, and to know that I got this for a really good price. And here's the inside. Gorgeous. Not a single stain, not a speck of anything. If you are in the market for a Vernis bag, I did ask the seller, but over time, heat, like if it's sitting in a hot room or if it's exposed to sun, the top layer of the Vernis can kind of disintegrate and make the bag sticky. So I did ask her, and she could have lied, but thankfully she didn't. I asked her if there were any sticky parts where the Vernis was missing. She told me no. And so this is just, I honestly cannot believe I got this good of a bag in such good condition for this price point. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I think that sometimes we confuse mindful shopping with never shopping at all, but that has never been my philosophy, and I don't think that could ever be my philosophy. My philosophy has always been to buy less, wait longer, and trust that if something is truly meant for you, if something is truly right for you, that you will still want it even after the excitement wears off. I realize the goal isn't to become someone who never shops, but to become someone who shops with confidence. And looking back, if I had bought that original Fendi bag, I would have never found this bag, which I'm so excited about. Waiting didn't just help me save money, it helped me understand my own taste. And once you know your own taste, shopping becomes so much quieter. You get rid of all of the noise because you're no longer chasing what's available. You know what you're waiting for. Because again, every bag I didn't buy brought me one step closer to the bag I actually wanted. And that's exactly why this Louis Vuitton bag means so much to me. It's not just a bag, it's a life lesson that I will carry with me for the rest of my life, while I also, ironically, carry this bag for the rest of my life. I'd love to know, have you ever walked away from something that you really liked only to find something that you absolutely loved later? Or is there something that you're intentionally waiting on right now? Leave it down below in the comments. I would love to hear your story because I truly believe that these kind of shopping stories are the ones that we can all learn from. If you enjoyed today's video, do be sure to give it a big thumbs up down below. Let me know down below in the comments, what do you think about my new bag? Like, is she fabulous or is she fabulous? And if you're not yet subscribed, be sure to subscribe and also click the bell button next to it. This way you get a notification when a new video goes live here on my channel. I'm here every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for spending a bit of your day to hang out with me. And I really, really hope to see you in my next one. Bye, guys.